If only there was a video telling me everything missing from this book. Welcome to the channel. I'll tell you everything you need to know to play Tau in 9th when all you have is the 8th edition codex. You really need the Psychic Awakening book for the greater good, some erratas and FAQs, but I'll bring it all together in this video so you don't have to go back and buy that book. Tau have had a tough time in 9th edition with only 2 placings in tournaments and no wins so far, but if you take them to any sort of local matchup, then they're a really fun army and actually certainly can be used to win. I'll start off with some of the key difficulties first and then look at all the positives to finish on a high note. 9th seems to be a melee focused edition which Tau can't compete in. The small boards are helping melee armies get into combat much easier. With all the changes to terrain rules, line of sight is getting harder for gunline armies, and you can't just sit on top of buildings in 9th because of the 5-inch engagement rule. Shorter games are harder for shooty armies, as there are fewer turns to deal out damage. Objective-based games rely on holding them, which Tau can struggle at, as they aren't the most durable army. The big changes to fly mean you can't fall back and shoot. Drones are being nerfed with points increases, and because of unit coherency, you can't just string them out. You can no longer get the -2 to hit a ghost keel, as the 9th edition caps cumulative changes. And changes for characters, like the commanders, they can't be screened by their own drones anymore. With all the negative talk out of the way, let's review all the positives and all the good stuff that came from the Psychic Awakening book. The big changes for vehicles and monsters has actually helped Tau. They can move and shoot heavy weapons without penalties. They can shoot into combat, and in a meta where vehicles and monsters are more common, Tau are particularly good at focusing on single units and dishing out damage, with the use of Marklights and strats. Tau are also quite good at ignoring high damage shots from single vehicles, because they've got drones. Overwatch has changed, which means there's a CP cost once per turn, except for Tau, who can use it all the time. And with the For the Greater Good ability, units within 6 can join in the Overwatch. Drones can be used to screen out deep striking, and if someone charges the drones, then they can be overwatched by the parent. Tau Sept overwatches on 5s. If you take the counter-fire defense system, you can reroll all failed overwatch shots. While terrain and board size has been a bit of a negative, actually for the SMS 30-inch range guns, it's actually a positive. It gives them a greater board presence. And you can touch terrain to be able to see inside it or through it, and actually you can use clever movement to get around line of sight issues. Marker lights are still a great mechanic to focus on an enemy. However, there is a shift away from being the most important thing with all the abilities and strats that give marker lights. While drone costs have gone up, you can still pay the old points costs when you take them as an upgrade with another unit. Tau have a Master of War ability, and it's a once per battle ability for anyone within 6 inches. You have 2 types. You have Kayun, where you can reroll hits if you haven't moved, or Monkar, where you can shoot as if you haven't moved. This has been confirmed to allow fallback and shoot. If you have Commander Farsight, you can actually use this twice. Other cool things of note. Riptide has its great 3+ invuln upgrade when you lose a wound, especially good because of how rare a 3+ invuln is in 9th. Unusually for Tau, Farsight gives them some melee punch. With 4 attacks at strength 8, -4 AP and D3 damage, it's hitting on 2s and rerolling 1s, it's actually going to do some work. Advanced targeting systems are a great support system to upgrade now, and it gives you additional AP on all your weapons. Breaches are doing well for one of the best troops choice. They've got Obsec and work well with the Devilfish, which is great for flying over an objective, and if you can break open the Devilfish, then it drops out troops and drones on the objective. Let's have a deep look into what Psychic Awakening has brought. There are a couple of Warlord traits which are pretty good. Strength of Belief gives a 5+ feel no pain. An Exemplar of the Kayun allows you to reroll hits if you've not moved. Signature Systems is the name for Tau relics, and there are some cool weapon options and abilities. You've got Pure Tide Engram Neurochip, which is a free reroll per battle, and if anyone plays a stratagem, you can roll D6, and on a 6, you gain a CP. This is great considering how there are so many ways to spend CP for Tau now. One of the other best ones is Vectored Maneuvering Thrusters, where you can move 6 inches after shooting. A cool move, shoot, move ability. You can actually upgrade and take a prototype weapon system instead of a signature system, and there's quite a few cool options to choose from. I've listed a few here. You've got reactive countermeasures, which ignores AP of 1 and 2. This is great on a squad of crisis suits, with 1 with the Irradium battlesuit and a 2+ armor save. It's a good way of tanking a big crisis bomb. The advanced EM scrambler, only for the ghost keel, means you can't set up reinforcements within 12 inches. Cross-link stabilizer jets for commander in crisis, reroll 1s for hits and wounds, and the Magna Rail rifles for a unit of broadsides. Really great weapon option. 60 inches, heavy 2, strength 9, AP -4, D6 damage, minimum 3, and 6s give a mortal wound in addition. Some great new strats have come from this book. Aerial targeting for 1 CP. Select any model and it's treated as having +1 marker light, and this affects all your army. You can target characters and anyone out of line of sight. This is perfect to give reroll 1s to your SMS. Modulated weaponry for 1 CP. Choose a model and it gets max shots from its heavy weapons. And as an obvious example, the Yavara and its Flamer, it gets a max 18 shots. Coordinated engagement for 2 CP. This is for crisis units, and you select an enemy unit and auto apply 5 marker lights. This is super powerful because because it gives you reroll 1s, +1 to hit. Your missiles hit on ballistic skill, not on 6s. The target doesn't gain cover, and there's no penalty for moving and firing. Promising pupil for 1 CP. Take an extra Warlord trait. As I said about Marklights, there are 2 strats there, which auto apply extra Marklights. The book also brought you some custom Sept tenants, and while there's a few to choose from, and a good combination of 2 is stabilisation systems and hardened warheads, which gives you missile weapons +1 AP, and you can move and shoot with heavy weapons without penalty. Possibly the biggest addition to Tau is the Farsight Enclaves. Probably the best Sept and the one you see always in tournaments, and if you're shooting enemies within 12 inch, you get an additional marker light, but the big part of it is you get reroll 1s to hit. If you're taking Farsight Enclaves, you get some extra strats on top of everything else. A great strat and mandatory if you're taking Crisis, I would say, is the Veteran Cadre, 1 or 2 CP, and this gives them a ballistic skill of 3 and a weapon skill of 4. Furious Assault for 1 CP. This is only for units with jetpacks, but that's quite a lot. If you're charging something, you roll a d6 for each unit that ends up within engagement range. On a 3+, you deal 1 mortal wound to the enemy. This is a great way to finish off an enemy target without ever having to actually fight. Focus Fury for 1 CP. Any character rerolls all wounds. The Farsight Relic is really cool. The Talisman of Athos Morlock is a 5+ invuln, and strangely for Tau, it gives you a Deny the Witch. Worth noting, one of the best strats from the main book that you'll probably use every time is Emergency Dispensation. 1 CP if you want 1 extra signature system, or 3 CP if you want 2. The only caveat is you can't use the same system twice. So in an army that didn't spend a lot of CP in 8th, Tau are going to spend loads. They've got a way to generate new CP, they've got loads of pre-battle CP spend, and some really good strats throughout the game. And even a little bit of melee. Let me know what you thought of this video, and if I've missed anything in the comments below, and please drop us a like because it really helps the channel. Thank you very much. See you again.